Welcome to another episode of Unscripted with Marilyn Morales. Today's episode is brought to you by Izzy's Legacy Incorporated. We are an organization that helps those families on a cancer journey with financial assistance. If you are on a cancer journey or someone that you love and your immediate family is, please check out izzyslegacyinc.org for more information. Well, my next guest is actually somebody who works with Izzy's Legacy Inc. She is actually someone that I was introduced to about a year ago when I was starting the organization and I needed some guidance with the financial aspect of it. So Jose Escobar, shout out to him, connected me with her and said, I think this is the person for you. And he was absolutely right. Well, my next guest, her name is Yara N. Ortiz. She is the owner and CEO of Bookkeeping Consulting Services. She is an international best-selling author, award-winning author and speaker, and a successful financial consultant who's helped numerous nonprofits develop a strong foundation and structure their financial management systems. With 14 plus years of experience in nonprofit financial management, she deeply understands their unique challenges. Yara's unique perspective in her work is shaped by her lived experiences and upbringing in Puerto Rico and the Bronx, New York. You guys know I'm from New York. Before establishing her company, she served as the director of finance and HR at a charter school in her community. Yara is passionate about empowering nonprofit leaders with essential financial knowledge and helping them develop robust systems. While Yara specializes in nonprofits, she also serves small businesses and provides personal financial planning for individuals. Let's bring her on so she could tell us more about her. There she is.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming on to Unscripted.
Thank you for inviting me. What else can I say about myself? You said it all so well.
I
Like,
said it
what
all,
I
right?
actually there to say?
Listen, there's a lot to say because I was introduced to you a year ago. Remember, it was Jose Escobar who introduced us. He knew that I was starting my nonprofit, and he said, "I think this person aligns with your spirit, with what you want to do. You're both from New York. You're both Puerto Rican."
Uh-huh.
So you go, there's a lot of synergies there. Then I think that she'd be great for you. And then we had our conversation, and I said, absolutely, this is the person. Because for me, having somebody to guide you financially, you've got to have a lot of trust in them.
Yes, absolutely.
So tell me, what makes you trustworthy?
What makes me trustworthy? Well, I am confidential and really how you say conservative
Conservative.
per se, like personally. And in my line of work is something that I put that in my line of work because I have to be confidential. I have to be really, um, what's the word? Oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm out of, I forgot the word. There's a word for that. But the point is that I see people, I try to understand people as they are first. I try to understand their story, right? I don't like to judge. I don't like to be judged, so I don't judge, right? So because my line of work, I've always been so confidential. I know how to. Oh my God, it's bugging me. The word that I'm looking for. Um,
Is it like empathetic?
I mean, aside from that, yes, that's another word. Um,
Yeah, because
it's
you
just
have
that
to
in
be
my line of
empathetic
work,
to understand, right? Compassion is one thing. Empathy is being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and understand where they're coming from,
yes.
right? And not judge them. But I'm sure you're looking for another word.
I'm looking for another word, but it will come to me. But the point is that I always try to understand the people that I'm working with and serving, right, and providing my service because I do understand that with my years of experience, I've always found that the situation of a person, financial situation, it always ties up, or almost always ties up with something emotional, something that is deeper than that. So I try to be
Mm,
empathetic and understand them
right.
first and connect with them, and I that connection makes them trust me, and it's just something that I just have, to be honest. It's just people in the street have stopped me and they have just spilled their guts, and this is the first time they saw me. I guess it's like, I guess it's in my face.
It's you're a therapist on top of it. Yeah, your business professional is your therapist. That's fantastic. So I know that you specialize in nonprofits. Is there a reason why nonprofits speak to you more than for-profit organizations?
Yes. Now that I cannot serve small businesses, because I can definitely, and I have had small businesses as clients. The thing is that with nonprofits, I chose as my niche because it comes from my connection. My connection to nonprofits come from growing up, from my childhood, from seeing so many close friends and family members struggle financially, always in survival mode, always living paycheck to paycheck, seeking for help back in the days to churches and other organizations, and those organizations not being able to have the funds and the resources to provide the help that they wanted to provide to their community. It's what one of the reasons, it's the reason actually as to why I decided to go for nonprofits, because I wanted to change that. I wanted to help them, with their finances, structure their finances, because I know by those organizations having those finances in order and structure, they're going to be able to get more funding, because that's what the funders look for and look at when they before they release the funds, right? And
Hmm.
be able to also have a strategic planning, help them with their cash flow and budgeting, and have that strategic planning to be able to know where they're standing financially, and be able to um, uh, break their resources and finances, to where they need it the most, depending on the program, what is it that they are providing, what programs they're providing, and whatnot, and be able to be financially stable.
Right. And then your clients, and I'm sure they, and I think you and I talked about this, they run from the person who wants to learn and wants to be able to do all these things to somebody like me who was very busy and says, I don't want to do any of that. I want you to handle it.
Hmm.
Right.
Yes, yes. I have both. I have people. I have not people. Executives and that and board members. Actually, there are some board members that are more involved than others.
Yeah.
um, that they want to understand. They do understand everything about the finances, the cash flow, the reporting when I'm presenting it to them, and they ask the questions and they know what I'm talking about and all of that. But there are other clients that they just tell me, here, you handle it, you do it, just give me the bottom line.
Yeah. Give me the bottom line. That's
Just
amazing.
give me the bottom line.
Yeah.
And that is okay, because that's what I'm here for, right? To manage it. I do um from time to time, to those clients like that, from time to time I always, send them the report and give them like a summary of, where they stand financially, how the reports are looking, so because they need to know whether they look at it or not. That's on
They need to
them.
know. Yeah, that's important. And I think it depends on what is your nonprofit, your main thing that you do on a daily basis. Is it something that you just do on the side? You're trying to build it. I think it depends on the stage of life that you're in, right? And
Yeah.
in my situation, it was because of personal issues. My 9 to 5, my full-time job, it just didn't allow me to. I didn't think I had room to learn anything else.
Yes.
you know so I think it's depending on the person. But
Yes,
I love
it
that,
is.
there's people like you out there that actually need to guide those of us that are trying to make a difference in the world. Those of us that do nonprofits is because we're not doing it for personal gain, because we don't gain anything out of it. It
Right.
is it is 100% because we want to see something different. We've identified a need, and we want to be able to do something about that need.
Absolutely. And most often, more often than not, um, someone that founds a nonprofit is because they have experienced the mission that they are targeting, because they have lived the mission they're trying to they're targeting and trying to serve, right?
That's
The
right.
reason why they want trying to serve their community is because they experienced it, they lived it, either them personally or a loved one.
Someone.
And that's what makes it even better, because they understand, they lived it, they experienced it. right? And that's what makes it better because they're there, they understand, they already come with an understanding as to what's the mission and what is it that people need, what their struggles are because they've been there, they lived that. So that makes it even better.
Yeah. And the perspective that the person who does the nonprofit has is unique when you've gone
Right.
through it, right? And
Yes,
only if you walk the walk do you understand.
exactly. Exactly. And I really love helping nonprofits. And when I see those executive directors and those leaders that they are so passionate about it because they lived it and they do understand. Like they've been there, they've been in the shoes, and they do understand, and it makes it so more personal.
Yeah.
And they really go out of the way. You know, one of my clients, um, the mission is to help families who have people, other family members and loved ones in the jail system,
Ah,
right? Because she had the experience of having had one of her sons being incarcerated. So she understands the parents. She understands the struggles as a parent. Now being able to understand how the system works, how to go see them, because sometimes they don't have the resources to go see them because sometimes they put them in the jail that's like a million miles away,
right.
right? So she helped those families and parents, and also when they come out, how to get acclimated with the community because it's a different, they come from being inside for so long. She helps them to get acclimated, with the outside world. So it makes it more impactful. Not to take away from nobody and no other executive, the director or founder of a nonprofit. It's just a different mindset, a different approach when someone I have actually gone through it.
It's a different perspective
Yeah,
because it's something that you don't think about. Yeah, and unfortunately, I've had family members that have been incarcerated, and you're absolutely right. You don't know how to navigate that system. You don't know how to get in contact with them,
yeah,
right? And it's unfortunate, but it's an absolute truth. So knowing that there's somebody out there, and I've never heard of a nonprofit that does that, so I love that. I'd like to know
yes,
more about that. Um, is key. It's having a different perspective on things that people don't think about, right? In regards to Izzy's legacy, one of the things that people don't think about is the financial aspect. People think about the cost of medications, right?
mm-hmm.
The not being able to work. But when Izzy's legacy identifies families as the recipient, right? It's a family who is in need. Because in our situation, I had two other children, right? Who I had to sometimes say no to things that they wanted to do because we didn't have the funds, because I was spending it on medication, because I wasn't working. My meals weren't paid for at the hospital, only Isabella's were covered, right? So I had to pay for that. The gas, the back and forth, all of those things. So when now Children's Hospital social worker has exhausted all the other grants that are out there for people, right? And they're still in need because the need
Yeah,
continues, right? And they go, well, this one, her car broke down and she can't get her daughter back and forth to treatment. She's Ubering every day. It's costing too much money. Can you help her? We were
I
able to
know.
step in and help that person because usually it's a bill. They'll pay the bill for you. It's a light
Mm,
bill, it's a rent bill. And that's what they've shared with me. That's what makes us different. That
yeah,
I say, I'm letting you decide for yourself with God what you need to do with that money.
yeah,
I'm granting
yeah,
it because I know that there's a need, but you
yeah.
decide what you're going to do with it. I'm giving it
And
to you.
it's also great because, like I said, when you have gone through it, you understand. And also because when the person going through it, it may not be in the right mindset because they're so focused on the struggle, on the suffering, that
Right.
they're not realizing other things, right? They're just not realizing other things that are happening because of it. And having someone that can really help, you know, uh, real like from the heart and not trying to you know, get over the person, get over and take advantage of the suffering and the struggle, right? It's
Yeah.
also really important,
Right.
and I really, really like that.
I love it. I love that you do that and that we've got those of us in the nonprofit world have somebody that we can, go to and will give us real advice and be real, because that's
Yes.
important too, to tell the truth, to hold people accountable. Make sure.
Hmm.
I know
Yeah.
that you send me an email, what's going on? What is this? And what's you're holding
Yeah.
me accountable. Somebody has to, right?
Explain this expense.
Yeah,
What was this
exactly.
for? For what? Who's
What is
that?
this for? Absolutely, got to keep us straight. So tell me more about you and what got you into, and I know you talked a little bit about, growing up and seeing people struggle and that kind of thing. Did it truly impact you in that way? Were you always good at math? Was this something that you were naturally good at, or did
Yes,
you decide at
actually.
one point that you wanted to do this?
No, no, since growing up, I always been good with math and numbers, and I always liked numbers, and I
No,
always
me.
was, um, and I was always the one that ended up always managing the money or the finances of whatever group I was in, whatever event. I
You
would
always
keep
did
track
that.
of the money. I was the one. In my math classes, there were a few of us that we were like the key students, that we were not allowed to answer the questions in the class because we knew it. Like, no, let the other people answer.
You're one of those.
Yeah, but it was just naturally, like I would just get it. I would just understand it. Um, and like I said, it was just that was just math and numbers, but really understanding money, really managing money, and how to make the best out of my income and savings, and the most out of my every dollar came from that what I shared before. Seeing my loved ones struggle financially, right? Maxing the credit cards, not being able to pay it, asking for money to other family members and whatnot. I decided I just didn't want that for me. I'm breaking that cycle, that spirit of lack in my family, because I don't want that. I'm determined, and I'm working towards creating wealth, creating, breaking that cycle, and creating something for me and my son, because I don't, I was, I'm here in this world to be much more than that.
Okay.
I'm here for a purpose, and I feel right now like I'm living my purpose. I know there's so much more for me to find out and create and build and grow and learn and all of that stuff. But finally, it's like, okay, I kind of get it, right? Kind of get it, and and I just like to. There's something about numbers, and like I said, it's just breaking that cycle, because just every time I think about it, it's like since I was 11 years old, I had my first bank account.
Mm.
Like at 11 year, when I was 11, I had my first bank account. I remember in Banco Popular in Puerto Rico, and it was me managing it. It was not mommy or papi. It was me managing it with my little checkbook.
Mm.
Added
Did
this,
you ask for
subtracted this.
did you ask for that bank account?
Actually, my godmother, she gave me money, and she said like for me to save it and do whatever. I said, okay, so take me to the bank.
You already knew about a bank then.
Yeah,
Even
like take
that
me to the
young,
bank.
you knew that the bank was the where you should put the money, not under the mattress.
Yeah, no, and let me tell you, I remember I still have that piggy bank. Back then, Banco Popular had this populoso. They used to call it populoso. It's the piggy bank, real nice.
Uh-huh.
That they will give it to you when you open an account. Like I want that. Like I want that piggy bank.
So what were you watching? Were you watching commercials
Yeah,
on Banco Popular and you're like, wow, financial
yeah.
at 11 years old?
Watching
Everybody else is watching cartoons.
yeah,
Yara is watching Banco Popular
Yara N
commercials.
populoso.
That's hysterical. That just shows you that that was your purpose in life, right? Because
Yes,
if at that young an age you're already at that age you're already looking at those things and knowing that this is where to do. A lot of kids can't put those things together. They don't
right.
understand that that's where. I talked about this the other day in regards to the upbringing in New York, right? And you're from the Bronx, I'm from Brooklyn, but I was raised in Brooklyn, right? And a lot of people are in survival mode,
Hmm.
right? And you can't think about anything if you're in survival mode. You don't
Right.
think about future. You don't think about the things that you were thinking about at 11 years old, building a bank account, que es eso, right? When you're trying to figure out how you're going to pay for the next meal, you
Yeah.
don't have anything left over because you're in survival mode. Did
Yes.
you ever feel in survival mode
Oh,
yourself?
absolutely. Absolutely. There was a period of my life that I was so stuck, feeling like I was just running in place. Um, and it was during the time that I was going through the narcissistic abuse with my ex. Um,
So for my
that
viewers, they may not know that they don't know you. So there was a period in your life where you were with a significant other and he
Yeah,
was narcissistic.
narcissistic, yes.
Mhm.
And he demanded a lot of me financially. And I always say this, what saved me was my understanding of money management and how to budget. I had to really, really juggle my budget a lot to not get in the red and be broke. And because I knew how to budget and play with money and play with the cycles, the when you pay, when you pay something, you need to pay within the cycle after the cycle. Like I used to play with all of that,
Oh,
and how to pay is to get less interest charge and all of that. Like, I used to play with all of that. And thank you to my understanding for money management because I would have been broke. And during that time, because I was not used to that, I was feeling real stuck. I was feeling like, oh my God. Like for me, I was like broke, like really broke. And mind you, I didn't even have a credit card. I refused to have a credit card. I
mm.
lasted without a credit card for about 15 years. No credit card. Just handling my check.
Was he trying to get you to get credit cards?
Oh yeah,
Because
absolutely.
that's one of the things that they do to exploit you
Absolutely.
is to
Yes.
get you and then they use it up.
Yes, he did try to for me to get a credit card. He did try for us to open an account together, or me adding him into my bank account. And that's one of the things that I probably can say that I put my foot down. I did not budge. I did have to juggle, like I said, my budget a lot, but I did not give him the satisfaction to take over my finances like that either. But even with that, I was feeling so broke. I was feeling stuck. I was feeling like, oh my God, like, can I breathe? I felt like I couldn't do nothing, right? Not like my father used to say, I'm gonna say in Spanish, like, si tú te quieres dar un gusto, dátelo para que para eso tú trabajas, right?
Yeah,
Like,
my
you
mother used
really
to say the
work.
same thing. So for
Yeah,
those that don't speak Spanish, they were like, if you want to do something with your money, right, to for yourself, if you want to do something for yourself, go ahead and do it.
yeah. I felt like I was not able to do that because, like, I didn't have the extra to do it. Like I
Right.
did have a little extra, but it was just a little. I didn't want to spend it or waste it on nothing else, just to kind of leave some cushion there, right? And I was feeling so stuck, and it was a feeling that I just don't like at all.
But I will
You
tell you
don't,
that mindset of date el gusto or go ahead and spend on something right now is part of the mindset that keeps people stuck, just like you're
yeah,
saying, because they don't have a cushion. And they say, oh, you only live once. You got to enjoy your life today. But then tomorrow comes and you don't have anything and you're worried and you're stressed. Right.
hmm
So if you have a piece of advice that you would give to a woman in a similar situation like you were in, right? What would that advice be?
to always be prepared, to always have your bank account, your resources separate, and just for you to know. Because if you need to run, you have it there, you pick up and go. You don't have to wait for nobody, for no man to give you permission to spend $1. Go get a soda in the bodega. You have your own right there, and you can just pick up and go. And that's why, sadly, a lot of women are stuck in this kind of relationship, abusive relationship, because they can pick up and go.
Because
Because
they're
the
tied.
man, yeah, because of the fear, because it's also the fear, right? And I was there, right? And because they are so restricted, you know, even
Yeah.
in financially and in other
Financially, yeah.
areas, but mainly financially, because that's one of their behaviors and targets, right? To get your finances, to keep that control over you, right? And being able and handling the money and handling the money and all of that, so that they know where the money's going, and you can do nothing, because if you take $1 they will know,
Right.
right? And that's one of the things, like I said, that they do to control you, to have that control over you and you not be able to move. So
Right.
my advice is to build your own, have it always there for only for you to know, so that when you need to pick up and go, you have at least something to get you started and just pick up and go.
Excellent. I know I've heard and talked to many married couples, right? And they are with all different types of, when they get married, do they join their bank accounts together? Some of them have always had separate accounts and then they open up a joint account where they both put in for the bills, right?
Mhm.
But their paychecks go into their own accounts.
Yeah,
And other couples who just put it all together. And I think that until you figure out, right, what your relationship is really like, because until you live with somebody, you really don't know that person. Because in the beginning, right, they charm you and you think that they're the best thing ever. And
and you
their
don't
true
know.
selves don't come out until after.
No, that's another one. They mirror you. They mirror you to make you feel like they Prince Charming and the best there is, and they are the person you need in your life.
Right.
BS. You know what I mean? Not to say the full word BS, because it is BS.
Yeah.
Listen, they will condition you to how they want to, what they want to get you. Once they get you, that's it. It's a wrap. And if you don't realize it, you're done.
You
And
are done.
sometimes you people, women or even men, because there are women that are narcissistic, right?
Right.
And the victim, right, don't realize it till like years later. And sometimes it's too late, because you are so trapped emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically, financially, that it's like you just stuck.
Mm.
So it's good to be aware, and that's why I created my workshop, the Rise and Thrive workshop, because I want to really help and open, and pour out, share my story, and help whoever is out there going through this situation, to help them understand and be aware what are the signs, what are the red flags, what are the behaviors, what are the character traits, what is it that you need to look for and look at. Follow your gut. If you see this, why? Dig a little bit. Don't just fall because you have a little butterfly. No, you need, because that's what they do, right? They
Right.
try to get you, like I said, they condition you. When the first stage is like exactly what they do. They are studying you, they are mirroring you, they are conditioning you to then get you. And once you're in their webs, it's hard to come out. So you need to be aware. You need to know where you're getting yourself into. It's too late. And if you're already there, how can you get out?
So how do you know that this is being done to you? And again, you have this Rise and Thrive workshop. Are you going to continue to have these workshops?
Absolutely. My next one is on October 8th. It's a Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Okay, so we want to make sure that we drop that in the comments when this airs on Sunday. You guys will be able to see and join this, because I think there's a need for this um,
Yes.
for so many people. Now, but when you're going through it, you don't realize that you're being conditioned or mirrored or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first flag that comes out? What was the first flag for you that there was something that was different?
One of the first things that I noticed, and I did I freaking ignore my gut?
You ignore it. But yeah,
I
listen,
ignore it. Yes.
not just
I'm
you.
like
There's a lot of women out there going through it, right? There's the
looking.
narcissistic personality and there's narcissistic traits. So your partner may not be full on a narcissist, but they could have narcissistic traits. But you have to be alert to what they are.
Yes.
So what was it for you
And there are
that
different
you
types
ignored?
of narcissist. But for me, he first tried to isolate me from my
Isolation. That's a
friends.
big one.
Isolation, because they want to be the only one, your only one, the one that you go to for everything and anything, and nobody else, no one else, nothing else. So one of the first thing was isolation. And it started like, oh, he's so cute. He just want me to be with him. No, you silly one.
I'm so
Uh,
special that he wants me all for himself.
yeah, I saw. Endito, mira.
No, none of us are that special.
No, he wanted to isolate me. And he actually succeeded in that with my friends.
Wow. From
He,
friends. Yeah, your
with
friend
my
group, the
friends,
first one.
he
Oh, they tell you,
succeeded
I don't like
only.
that one because of blah, 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 right?
Yeah, no, not only that. Not only that, that did happen though. But not only that, he actually went behind my back to my friends, like, don't look for Yara. Behind my back. I didn't find Marilyn. I didn't find out till after he died. That did happen.
What?
I did not know.
Okay, so these friends of yours, they didn't tell you
They
that
didn't
he
tell
was.
me. They didn't tell me because he used to threaten, and he was a master in putting fear on people. Whatever
Oh,
he did, whatever he said, they got so scared that they didn't tell me anything. And it was so weird. And then I would feel so bad because I felt the rejection. I felt the distance. And we used to live in the same building. One of them, we used to grow up together like sisters.
and she just stopped talking to you,
She just stopped talking to me. I didn't know what
and you
was
have
going
no idea why. That's
on.
hurtful. That's
Yes,
hurtful.
but at the same time, if you know me, you will look for a way to let me know somehow, some way. That's first. Second, when I used to see her, I used to see her like looking the other way or walking the other way to not cross path with me. I was like, what the heck did I do to her?
And you
Right?
never pulled her aside to say, "Hey, what's going on?"
No, because she will avoid me all the time. And every time I used to bump with her or go in the elevator, he was there. So we couldn't talk.
Yeah.
Right? And I didn't know till he died. But then again, how good of a friend were you? Were you really my friend?
That's my
But
concern.
you really didn't look for a way to go around and can really insist and persist
Just
to
give you a
really
warning.
give me a somehow get me a message or something, you know? So it's not to defend him, but at the same time, it's like, were you really my friend too? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, usually I'm the friend the guys warn their girls that they're trying to keep away, that they're trying to isolate. I'm the one that they don't like because I'm the one that's going to stand up and say something, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It is what it is. If I'm your friend, you better believe I'm going to tell you and I'm going to tell him where to go.
Yeah.
you know,
And that's what you're supposed to do as a friend.
as a friend, you should, for your own safety. Because if he's like that and telling I'm your friend and he's telling me that, what is he doing to you?
Hmm.
What is he saying to you? You know?
Yeah,
Crazy. This is a crazy world, I gotta tell you.
it
But
is.
thankfully you got out of that. And I think, that that's great that now you have now embarked on this new journey where you're now empowering those that have that are in that situation now.
Yeah, of course. Like I would never even thought I'd be doing what I'm doing right now. Even right now, talking to you, being interviewing a podcast like me, like who, why, when?
A
You
year
know
ago
what I
when
mean?
I talked to you, yeah, this was not not even part of a conversation that you were going to be doing something like this. So,
No, not at all. Speaking out there, being invited to YouTube interview, podcast interview, or even doing my own workshop. Like what? Me? When one of my fears has been talking to audience like that, and like, oh, Dios mío, no.
And not just speaking of competitions too, but winning competitions.
Oh my
Right?
God, yes, I did. It's right here. It's right here.
Where
Where
is
is
it?
it? Right
That is
there.
excellent. So with all of this, and now that you've gone through all of these experiences and moving up to bigger and better things, today, what is your definition of success?
Oh my God, what is my definition? Um, Let me think. No, I think it's it's overcoming every no with a unstoppable yes. It's like smacking the no on the face with an unstoppable yes. And it's to become the best version of you, of yourself. It's about facing the obstacles, which I've had plenty, even
Face
to
them.
share if you want some. Facing rejections, your doubts, even in yourself, which I was big in doubting myself. I will forever doubt myself and second guess myself. But despite all of that, pushing forward anyway, despite the obstacles, the rejections, the doubts, pushing forward anyways, because it's not about hitting goals, it's not about evolving, it's not about learning, and embracing. It's about embracing your journey and your growth, because you own your story. You have to own your story, and no matter how your chapter goes, how your story goes, it's about owning your story and growing from it.
Right.
And yeah, life is going to be difficult. It's always, but it's having that relentless belief in yourself, which is key for me because, like I said, since I've doubted myself so much, that's key for me. If you don't believe in yourself, you're not your biggest cheerleader, then you are going to do things already with that mindset of defeat
Right.
because you're not believing in yourself. So, whether you realize it or not. So I would say, because I have experienced that in myself, like there was no tomorrow, I would say that believing in yourself and pushing through the obstacles and the challenges and the doubts, regardless and despite of, that's key for me for success.
That's beautiful. That's absolutely a fantastic definition of success. Yara, thank you so much for coming on the show. I am so excited that you participated and that you're putting out there your workshops and all great things that you do for nonprofits. Guys, if you want to get in contact with Yara N. Ortiz, her website is scrolling right there on the bottom, and we're going to be adding some links to the comments. So keep an eye out for that. And for my viewers, I will see you next time. Good night.
Bye.